Wang Zhengze, come up here, sit here. And you. Good morning, folks. Okay, now let's preface this course, the course of the WTO law, by doing a short opening ceremony. Everybody will please rise. Welcome aboard on the journey to a new continent of knowledge, an area that is not brand new though. And you are hereby admonished that this course will be conducted on an English-only basis, which means you can speak, but only English in this classroom. Okay? I think this poses a big challenge for you. But it's not just a challenge for you, it's a challenge for me as well. Right? I wish you a huge success in this course, both in English, the language, and the professional knowledge in the WTO law. I'm hoping for a joyful and a fruitful expedition where your cooperation will be highly appreciated. Okay, thank you in advance. Now please be seated. Okay. Now, you need to do some preparation work. The first thing is you need to download a dictionary in your app or iPad, right? Because maybe you encounter some unfamiliar words. For example, like this. Just now, I said, you are admonished to. Let's preface this course by doing. Okay. Now, let's get down to business, to the content of the WTO law. Let's recall first what we have learned in the course of the general theory on international economic law. How many, we say, sub-branches are included in that course? Can you remember? I gave you, yes, that's it. Tift, right? So what does this letter T stand for? Trade law, right? The second, investment law, right? Good. And the third one, yeah, financial and the monetary law. The last one, tax law, right? Good. So thus far, how many disciplines have you learned? Investment law, right? Got it. This one, I'm afraid not. I'm afraid not. This one, also not. Trade law, yes. But trade law, we have got two subchapters. The first one is private law, right? And the other is public. The WTO law belongs to a public law. And this private law is what you learned maybe in the previous semester, last semester? Yes, last semester. Good. Then I have a question for you. What content is included in this course? I mean, international trade law. What have you learned? For example, trade terms, right? International contract of sales, right? CISG, something like that. And what else? The law on the carriage of goods by sea, right? What else? Letter of credit, the payment for international sales contract, right? What else? What else? Just that? And I think we covered all these contents I just mentioned in the course of general theory on international economic law. Is it correct? Yes, but only in Chinese. But in the course of international economic law, Professor Li Juan has taught you this course in English, if I'm not mistaken, right? Okay, good. Then what else? I mean, what else? Okay, please, would you please?
Bills of lading.
Bills of lading. Good. Good point.
Credit bank.
Credit bank.
Competence principle.
Good. That is competence villa competence, right? It's a principle. I think you mixed the international trade law and the international commercial arbitration. Competence villa competence means the principle, it's a principle applied in the field of international commercial arbitration. It means the tribunal itself decides the jurisdiction of its jurisdiction all by itself, right? The jurisdiction of a legal dispute will be decided by the tribunal itself. That's a principle used in international commercial arbitration. Credit bank, bill of lading, what else? How many chapters are there in total? For example, we have 4 chapters in the WTO. I sent you in the textbook. I sent you. How many chapters are there in international trade law? Recall it. Do you have a textbook? Find it right now.
Chapter 2.
Okay. Later, I will come to that later, at a later point. Now, let's come back to the content of the WTO law, okay? First thing you need to know is WTO law is a public branch of trade law, public branch. Then what's the difference between private law and public law? That's a question for you to consider. What is the difference between private law and public law? You can give me some examples of private law, for example, civil law, contract law, tort law. These are all private law, right? Then public law, for example, the law of economics, taught by the handicapped teacher, maybe. She taught you in a chair, right? Oh, that's labor law, maybe labor law, I'm sorry. Labor law. Labor law is a public law, am I correct?
Yes.
Yes. Economics law. What else? What about a company law? Is company law private or public? Taught by Professor Zhao Jinlong. Public law or private law? Company law. Of course, it's a sub-branch of civil law, right? So it's private. It's private. Then public law, the most prominent feature of public law is it must involve a public body, or we say government, or something like that, to govern the activities of private persons or private parties. There is always a public body or government involved to govern the affairs between private parties. Got it? But in civil law or private law, the parties have equal legal status. Right? Equal legal status. Okay, good. Now let's go into the content of the WTO law. I've already sent to you the textbook for this course. And the original one, as you can see it, it's very, very long, right? It's about how many pages? 1,600 pages. Also, I say 1,600 pages, something like that. But the version I sent you with the Chinese version, it covers only 4 chapters. Far shorter than the original one. Why? Because I haven't finished the book yet. So for this semester, maybe we can only deal with 4 of them. And that's the best scenario, maybe. We will try, okay? Try our best to push the content forward much longer. Okay. Then, in the textbook I sent to you with both English and Chinese, there are 4 chapters. The first chapter is international trade. The second one would be
The harmful effort.
the second chapter. That's the section 2, chapter 1. Good. The sources of WTO law, right? Sources. You know what does this word mean? If you do not know the meaning of this, then look for it in your dictionary. The second chapter is
Water
the sources of WTO law. What about the third chapter?
organization.
Exactly. The World Trade Organization, right? The WTO, World Trade Organization. In the sense of organization or institution. It is an organization, right? So, in this chapter, the third chapter, the World Trade Organization, it's basically about the organization, the institution itself, how the organization works, how does it operate, this organization. Who is the leader of this organization? How do we adopt relevant international instruments or agreements? How do we amend or change or modify the laws, the sources of WTO law? So this is the third chapter. And the fourth chapter would be allotment system. Mechanism. Dispute. Settlement. Mechanism. Okay. The capital letters, the capital initials, or dispute settlement mechanism. It's an acronym, just like this one. It's an acronym. Maybe this is word acronym. Okay. Just like this one, TIF. Okay. Then that's the 4 chapters I sent to you. Okay. Maybe in the final exam, we will only cover these 4 chapters. Let's go and see what happens next. Okay. Now let's talk something about this course itself, about how do we evaluate your performance. Okay. The overall assessment of your performance will include or consist of 2 parts. The first part is your usual performance. Good. And the other part would go to the final exam. Then, let me check. But your usual performance consists of 3 components. The first part is attendance. That means you need to come to this class. Attendance rate. The second part would be class involvement, which means teacher-student interactions, where you may need to answer my questions. I pose a question for you, and then you need to answer my questions. This is an important one. It's called class involvement. And the last part for usual performance would be regular assignments. It's not homework, but assignments. Got the word? Regular assignments. Regular assignments. Maybe in the eighth week, I will give you an assignment for you to finish. But no worries. I will not give you too many assignments. Maybe only one time. Okay, for one time. And your usual performance will take up 40% of the overall assessment. The rest 60% will go to the final examination. Got it? Now let's get down to the content part for this. International trade. There are 4 sections in this chapter, right? Basically, it's something about the economics and the trade. I know that you also learned the course international trade, right? And in this chapter, first concept you need to know is economic globalization. I'll invite someone to read this definition for us first. Economic globalization. 金野 out loud. Can you see clearly?
Yeah.
Good. Then go.
From
Only this definition.
Economic globalization refers to the closer integration of the country in the world, which has been brought by the enormous reduction of cost of transportation and communication, and the breaking down of artificial barriers to the flow of goods, service, capital, knowledge, and people across the borders.
Sit. I'll read it for you and try to correct your own pronunciations, okay? Economic globalization refers to the closer integration of the countries in the world, which has been brought about by the enormous reduction of costs of transportation and communication, and the breaking down of artificial barriers to the flow of goods, services, capital, knowledge, and people across borders. So, from this paragraph, we can know that the elements of the moving elements. What are the moving elements? Include goods, services, capital, knowledge, and the people. For example, if you travel to Japan for a tourism, that's movement of people, right? You still remember the mode of supplies in international trade? Services, trade in services, 4 modes of supply. Let's recall it. For example, the first one would be cross-border supply. The second one would be consumption abroad. The third one would be commercial presence. The fourth one would be presence of natural persons. You don't have any memory of that? It's in the PPT of our general theory. Okay, also in English, right? Okay, good. Talking of tourism abroad, I heard that maybe some people went to Vienna. No. Switzerland. You've been to Switzerland during this winter vacation, right? Could you please tell us something about your journey or trip in Switzerland, including who do you go there with? What did you do there? And what are your achievements from this trip? And what is this program about? Who did you go there with? What did you do there? And what are your achievements? Maybe it's a little bit difficult for you to Okay, express yourself too fluently, but try. Okay, this is an opportunity. I tell you guys, in this classroom, you need to grasp every single opportunity to act, to speak out. Okay, in English. Think it like you're taking a test for IELTS or TOEFL. There's always a part for spoken English, right? So you need to grasp every opportunity to see something, anything. Also can be the date or when did you go there? It's also okay. See something.
In this summer vacation.
Winter vacation. Good. It's okay.
Yeah. We went to Switzerland with the many 35 students from 4 universities, include Wenzhou University, Tianjin University, and two more. Okay.
Okay.
We went to Switzerland for 10 days, and we traveled to the city and visited many.
Which cities?
Geneva,
Geneva. Good.
Annecy, Annecy.
Zurich. Been there? Have you been to Zurich? No. Only Geneva, Vienna.
No.
You also been there.
No.
Oh yeah. You also been there, right? You together.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Geneva and what else? What else cities? Oh, Lausanne.
Yeah.
What else? Only three?
Yeah.
Okay, three cities. Montreal. You've been there. At least you should know the name of the city, right?
In Chinese, it's okay.
It's an English program. I know your companies, your peers are all Chinese students. So in that journey, you only talked in Chinese. What about your visit to the UN, United Nations?
Yeah.
United Nations, right? Okay. What happened there, and what did you do there? What have you learned? What have you got? Yeah.
We went to many UN organizations, such as WIPO and the WTO as well.
Is the secretariat of WTO located in Geneva, right?
Yeah.
Yes, Geneva. And you can see this also stands for WTO. But it's the capital initials of French, not English. This is English, okay, acronyms. This is French. Then what did you do there? You visit, just visit?
And
Did you do anything?
And then listen, maybe call a club from the official.
Whenever you cannot to know how to express it in Chinese, okay? I'll allow you. Some of the words.
A lecture.
A lecture.
讲座.
A lecture. Oh. The theme of the lecture. What's it about?
It talks about some
The functions of WTO. Okay. Then, okay, so much about this. We will not waste no more time on this. But I give you a reminder. You need to summarize all those contents after class, okay? For your future use. Okay, in this part, I need to tell you economic globalization. This definition is very important. Remember, it's economic globalization. We also have a definition about globalization. That's different. Okay. You know, globalization now is experiencing very difficult times. right? But I didn't. You want? Okay, go. Difficult times. Why? Because
American.
yes, because of the country of America, right? What did America do?
Everything.
Yeah, Trump, yes, exactly, Trump. Since Donald Trump's assume of the presidency of the United States, it has broken the international trade system. Because, why? Because, in the United States, not everybody is elite enough to land a job that is highly rewarding. I mean, with a high salary, right? The ordinary people also would like to have a job. But because of globalization, the manufacturing industry has moved out of the United States. So the ordinary people, especially the middle class and the lower income class, they lost their jobs. So the United States is experiencing high rate of unemployment. So the people try to change this situation by presidential election. That's why they chose President Donald Trump. He paralyzed the international trade system. Paralyzed this system. But here's a question. Could governments reverse the economic globalization? Do you really think this trend of globalization can be cut down and reversed back? Maybe. Or maybe not. Okay. Next part is about the changing nature of international trade. We can say the twin brother of globalization is one thing. Anyone know what's that? The twin brother of globalization. I mean, in globalization, the international trade has another mode. Look at this. Read this paragraph and you can tell me what is the twin of globalization. The word. What's the word? If you cannot read it, the translation is in the textbook. What is the, I mean, globalization brings about traditionally, trade was mostly about products manufactured in country and exported to country. What about now? I think I gave you the example, right? The example of this, okay. Maybe this one, is this apple? Okay.
Many people can't remember.
Yeah. Yeah, then there are two lines, but with very small characters. You read it out loud for us.
Designed by Apple in California, assembled in China.
Okay. Designed by Apple in California, assembled in China. That is a division of labor. Got it? Division of labor. This part in America and this part in China. So what do we call this International Division of Labor. Global value, what's the word? Global value chains. GVC, or we say global supply chains. Supply chains. In Chinese, it's called 全球价值链,全球供应链. Okay. You need to know this. Right now, the current international trade mode has changed. Okay, you need to know that. Okay, let's move on to next part. The harmful effect of international trade. International trade can increase the total volume of the global output, right? But that's an overall output. Not everybody can benefit from it. For example, the middle class or lower income class of the United States people, they cannot benefit from international trade, and that's why they want to reverse this regime. The harmful effect, you can have a browse of it. Okay. For this part, the content on page 6 to page 9, we have already dealt with it in the course of general theory, right? So we'll just omit it and skip it over to the next part. Actually, you can know the content in general theory is taken from this textbook. Got it? I mean, not last year, maybe the year before last year. We had this course, general theory. You know what does it mean, general theory? 总论.
General.
General theory on international economic law. I know that guy hasn't learned it. We have one word to describe the current international trade system. It's called protectionism. Protectionism. Then, arguments for protectionism. That means there are some people who think that we do not want to trade with China. Why? Because the prices of Chinese products, made in China, products are extremely cheap. Right? So they have an advantage in price. This forced the manufacturing industry out of the United States. And let's see what are the reasons or grounds behind this opinion for protectionism. Okay. First one, competition, import competition. The Chinese products will constitute a fierce competition for the products made in America. Okay. Okay. Anyway, you need to know. There are two opposing or separate opinions. One is for free trade. The other is for protectionism. One is free trade. The other is trade protectionism. Okay. But trade protectionism also has its own reasons or grounds. You need to know about it. Let's take a break of 5 minutes. Then we will come back.